Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we are doing some brows, and we're not doing just any kind of brow, but we're doing a brow on somebody, myself, who has trichotillomania. If you're unfamiliar with trichotillomania, I would encourage you to go watch my previous video on my trichotillomania story. But in short, it is a mental health disorder that involves pulling out one's own hair. It's a stress reaction. Oftentimes, people don't even know they're doing it. If you could guess, my trichotillomania is focused on my brows. I don't have any brow hair. So this tutorial is to help those with trichotillomania and kind of show you the way that I create brows that, quite honestly, I'm fooling people, okay? Like, people think that I have brows. I get compliments on my brows all the time, and I have to tell, like, it happened not too long ago in Ulta even, where there was an employee there who complimented me on my brows and asked me where I got them done. And I was like, girl, if you only knew. And so I told her, but it's working. So I want to share it with the world. I want to show you how I do this. And if you want to know how to get pretty lifelike brows when you got nothing, then keep watching. Boop. Okay, so I have one eyebrow on, one eyebrow off. Normally when I do my eyebrow makeup, I do not save it for last. Just for the sake of this video and kind of giving you a comparison between, you know, full face done, full face without an eyebrow on, I just decided to do it this way. As you would know if you watched my previous video on my trichotillomania story, I do have my brows microbladed, which is really great when I'm having a day where I don't wear any makeup at all. I don't have to fill in my brows really at all. Like, I can go out and it just looks like normal brow hairs. But as you can see, the second that I put on foundation, powder, if I do any of the rest of my makeup, it makes my eyebrow look muted and weird, and obviously like something is wrong, because, you know, there's no hair. So here's kind of what it looks like, you know, before I get to it, if I have foundation and everything on. And this is the goal that I want to get to. If I kind of come a little bit closer, you can see that there's some hairs drawn on there. And to be completely honest, I never want to draw it too perfectly. I hope that makes sense, because if it's too uniform, then it looks too fake. So every once in a while, I'll get like a wild hair, if you will, where I go outside of the brow line. I just want it to look natural. I'm not looking for perfection. I want it to look natural. So in this video, I'm going to show you, obviously, the process that I take in trying to make this look normal. And what I'm doing is not something that only works if your eyebrows are microbladed. This is the process that I used to do way before I got my eyebrows microbladed. And basically the concept is that the first color is kind of like an overall background color. Okay, it's just kind of like getting a brow color on your face, making the shape of your eyebrow, kind of determining where you want your eyebrow to go. And then I'm gonna go in with a gel liner to kind of further define the brow by drawing those individual hairs that you see. So let's just get into it. There are a couple different products that I use. Lately I've been switching back and forth between my long time ride or die for years and years, the Anastasia Anastasia Brow Wiz Brow Definer Pencil. I use the color Soft Brown. I have been using this baby for years. I can't even tell you how many I have purchased. It's probably sad, but when you don't have eyebrows, you have to use a lot more product. But okay, typically I use that for the sake of also trying to bring you reviews on new products. Benefit has a new product called the Brow Contour Pro Pen, and this pen is giving me serious high school vibes. Like, do you remember those pens, like maybe not even high school, maybe like grade school, where you push down the color that you want to use and it boop, pops out the end. And then when you're done with that color, you just bring out the next one. Like, I never thought in a million years I would see another pen like that, let alone in makeup. But I'm gonna use this today. I've been pleasantly surprised with it so far. I did not have high hopes for it at first, just because I thought it was kind of strange, a little gimmicky, but it's not bad. The shade of pen that I'm using is Brown Light. I know that they have a lot of different options for darker and lighter brow colors, but all right, so this is nice because it helps you really contour. I mean, it is in the name, Contour Pro Pen, but basically when you do your eyebrows, you always want the inner portion of your eyebrow to be lighter, and as it goes out to the arch and tail, get a little bit darker. It just makes it more defined, really helps frame the face very well. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take the lighter brown shade, as you can see there, it's already clicked up, and to get more product out, you just twist. And so, okay, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. But I'm just going to draw the basic shape of my brow. And I have trouble talking while I do this, so I hope you don't mind a little bit of silence, but and it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just getting the basic shape on there first. And then making sure that as we go, we're checking to see if both eyebrows are shaped about the same. You want them even, you want them to start, you know, about the same spot. You want the arch to be in the same spot. I have a little bit of a cheat sheet with the microblading, but believe me, it was a process that I had to get used to for years and years without the microblading as a guide. Okay. So there's the first part of the eyebrow shape. Do a little bit more right there, even that out. Okay, so we have the lighter shade on first. Now I'm gonna go in with the darker shade, which it's literally named, whoop, deeper shade. I'm going to do the arch and the tail now. Now, as I do this, I'm going to attempt to blend the two colors together. Luckily, with our next step, it'll help hide kind of a harsh line between the two colors, but I would rather blend now than have to worry about it later. So I'll show you as soon as I'm done with this darker color. Okay, darker color is on. I'm gonna go back to the lighter shade, and I'm gonna kind of go over that seam between the two. You can see a pretty harsh difference between the dark tail end here and the lighter front. So, blend, blend, blend. Okay, now since this is a newer product and I haven't seen a lot of YouTubers use this yet, I will tell you that I love the concept. I love, you know, the idea of contouring with the lighter shade up front, the darker in back, using then the definer colors to go around like the upper part of the brow to really define it, and the highlighter to use right underneath the arch. However, I find that the colors are a little bit drying, and I don't know if you noticed when I was applying it that there were a couple little chunks of product that just kind of like flecked off the pen. I don't even know if you can't see. Never mind. Okay, anyway, so it's a bit drying. Overall, it's not bad though. I find myself grabbing for it day after day, which is not something that I thought I would do. I'm actually rather surprised with myself that I am, but what do you know? Okay, so next step, I'm going to take the L'Oreal Infallible Lacquer Liner, say that 5 times fast, in the shade Espresso, and it's just their gel liner. It's a nice deep brown color, and I use the gel liner brush that comes, oh my goodness, comes with the set. Now this is the part that's kind of weird. So I take one of these, it's just like the Walmart Equate makeup wipes, and now I already have one out and it's dirty because I cleaned it just a second ago with the other brow, but I like to get my brush nice and wet on the end, and then I dip it into the gel liner, and you're probably like, what the hell are you doing? But the thing is like by itself, I find that the product is too thick and it goes on too rough. Like eyebrow hair is delicate. It's thinner, there's a lot of them, you know, you don't want this big, gaping, huge, dark line across your eyebrow, right? So the concept is to have these thin, light, airy hairs on your eyebrow. So by getting it wet with this makeup remover, it kind of thins out the product a little bit and then applies a lot more delicately. So at the end of my brush wet, I'm going to just dip, dip, and then I scrape on the sides there. So got some product on there, scraping the edges. And the reason why I scrape most of it off is, again, you don't want to have like a ton going in on your brow there. But I also like to create a very sharp tip, a very fine tip, because that is what we're going to use to draw our eyebrow hairs. So once I have my product on there, this is where some artistry comes into play. So, you know, be patient with it. You got to give yourself a little bit of time to get adjusted to this technique. But I just go in and start drawing some hairs. And if you look at any photos of eyebrows, pay attention to the direction in which the hair grows. If you notice this first part, they tend to grow up and out, but when they get to the tail, they tend to grow kind of down and out. So paying attention to how your eyebrows used to grow, or if you study a bunch of eyebrow pictures, that will really help you to make the look as natural as possible with what the hairs are supposed to be doing if they were actually growing. Okay, get some more on there. When we get to this very inner corner area, I like to do itty bitty little hairs, kind of sparsely just sticking out a little bit, because that's naturally what they do anyway. You really are becoming an artist at this point because you are creating eyebrows. And it is a slow process, but it's what we got to do to get, you know, some eyebrows on there when you have this disorder. Okay, as you can see, it is starting to match my other brow, and you can see those little hairs on there. To kind of further define the brow, sometimes I like to take the Anastasia Brow Wiz, and I'll take the spoolie end of it and just kind of lightly on the very inner portion of the brow brush that out. Now I realize there's no hair to brush, but what it does is it kind of lightens that very inner edge to make it less harsh. It makes it look more natural. Because if you ever notice when you look like at super up close photos of like Instagram makeup, it is definitely darker and more defined out here, and then on the, I'm flipping you off, I'm sorry, and then on the inner corner, it's got that nice, light, gradual fade into the eyebrow. So by using the spoolie, you can kind of create that same dynamic, that same definition. Okay, so there we go. We have 2 brows. It might look like a lot. It might look very complicated, very hard, especially when we get down to drawing the individual hairs. But honestly, once you practice it a couple times, like I whizzed through this process in the morning pretty quickly. It just takes a little bit of time. Just sit down some evening, grab a glass of wine, but not too much because you might end up with 3 eyebrows, and just practice. Put on some Grey's Anatomy, have a mirror in front of you, put them on, take them off, put them on, take them off. The more that you do it, the more comfortable that you'll feel. And that's the big thing with this disorder, is so many of us lack confidence because we have this weird disorder where we're pulling out our own hair, and you know, we're damaging our bodies in a way. So I hope that this video was helpful for you. You know, like I said in my Trichotillomania story, even if I can help just one person do their eyebrows and make them feel a little bit more normal, then I would say my job here is done. Because back in the day when I was first starting out with makeup and I was struggling with Trichotillomania, YouTube didn't really exist, and so trying to find a way to cover up the damage that I was doing to myself was very difficult. But luckily we have YouTube now, and we have people who can do tutorials. So drop me a comment down below. Let me know what kind of routines you've been doing to try and cover up your trick. But in the meantime, I hope you have a fabulous day, and I will catch you later. Bye.